and I do it for fun, is the Guardian bells. You know about the Guardian bells?
Yeah, I got my dad one for Christmas.
Right.
Yeah.
So we've exchanged Guardian bells. You know, that's a good luck thing. You could call it a superstition.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't help me, but you know, but that would be the only superstitious kind of thing that I can think of.
Nothing else like I know some people can just be pretty not weird when it comes to bikes, but like they're very much in a routine. I don't know if you have like any routine you believe in now.
No special routine. I mean, I ride with other groups too. The one group up at the Legion, if we're going on a ride, any ride, there's a chaplain in the group, and you know he always blesses the bikes before we go. You know.
That's one I haven't heard of, but
the blessing of the bikes, and actually the blessing of the bikes is an event that occurs. You know, I mean, I think other people do it too. There's the blessing of the bikes. You know.
Yeah.
Lord, let us all come home safe. You know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know.
Have you ever heard of? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Have you ever heard of the rear pegs down? It's kind of like
Nope.
a bad luck thing, unless it's for like remembering somebody.
Never heard it.
Really? Okay.
I never heard it.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I've ridden with my rear pegs down simply because on my other bike I could actually put my feet
Oh yeah.
on the rear pegs.
I've done
So
it a
to
couple
change
times.
position.
Oh yeah, it's a nice stretch.
Right, it's a stretch.
I'm part of a lot of Facebook pages when it comes to bikes, like for Harley, Kawasaki, and you know, if somebody's friend passes away, they'll post like a remembrance picture or something, and people always comment, you know, put your rear pegs down next time you go out and ride, something like that.
Oh, that's nice. I actually never heard that one either. You know, I just ride because I like to be on the bike.
Yeah.
You know.
So.
And a lot of superstitions.
Do you think that motorcycles in general have like a strong, like they're very much about the individual? Because I know you said you go on group rides and rallies, and that's the part of it I find interesting is many people pick it up because it focuses on the individual. It's something you do by yourself, and you know, some people think it's therapeutic, but at the same time there's these huge rallies where you have a bunch of those types of people who come together. I've never been to a rally. I don't know if it's any different than any other kind of like maybe like a car week or something like that.
It's probably the same. You have a bunch of enthusiasts, you know, who are all there for the same reason. Now, you know, I think, I'm not into cars, so I've never been in a car rally, but you know, it seems like the motorcycle community is maybe a little stranger than the car community. So you certainly see all kinds of characters.
Oh yeah.
You know, and everybody's bike is different, which is really interesting to see too. I mean, we go to Ephrata bike breakfast. The first Sunday, if you ever heard of that, first Sunday in Ephrata, they have a breakfast at the American Legion down there, or VFW. I mean, you go down there. I mean, we see they're probably Mennonite. I mean, it's just that's what amazes me is all the different people. So you'll see the bald, tattooed, goateed, you know, guys with the leather vests on, and you know, and they look like Hell's Angels. And at the same group, you see Mennonites walking around with their little bonnets on and their conservative clothing. But you know what? Everybody's getting along. We're all interested in motorcycles. They're looking at them. We're looking at them. You know, you can go up to these, you know, people that you might not normally. If you saw them on the street, you'd probably step to the other side of the street.
Yeah.
But at these bike events, everybody's there for the same reason. You know. Now, I don't know anybody that would buy a motorcycle to go to those events, you know, to be included. I think, you know, there's a phrase that I remember, and when people say, why do you like riding a motorcycle? And the response to that is, if I have to explain it to you, you'll never understand.
Yeah, I've heard that one.
You heard it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's it. I mean, it's either something you like and you're really into it, or you're not.
Mhm.
I have friends that don't ride. They don't want to ride. They don't understand why we ride. You know?
I admit I used to be that person. I think a year before I got my bike, two friends of mine got bikes, and they would go out on rides, and I didn't really feel included. But at the same time, I've been around my dad who had one, and he had an accident that kind of scared me a bit, and I didn't like the idea in general. And then I was going to get my license renewed. I said, why not just take my permit test, see if I can get my license or something, just in case I ever have to ride one. And took my dad's Sportster around the block, and I was scared straight, but I loved it because it's.
Well,
I think there's the first time you hit that speed where it's like going from bicycle speed to like.
Well,
man, this is.
Yeah, I mean, there's the thrill of the speed. I like, one of the things I like is gas mileage. I travel places that I would not go in a car. I mean, like with my one friend, he says, let's go burn some gas. There's no destination in mind. It was just being on the bike, seeing the sights and the smells, and you're just out there in the open. And riding a motorcycle is a lot different than driving a car.
Yeah.
Because in a car you're just sitting there steering basically, but with a motorcycle you've got to be paying attention. I mean, it is strenuous mentally because when I go out I look at every situation and it's like, who's out here to kill me?
Yeah.
But I just drove to Williamsport the other day, and on the way up, I'm talking about being on a bike, so on the way up I got to about the halfway point. Right, I don't know where that was, Lewisburg or something like that, Lewistown, forget what it is. Anyway, I'm about halfway there, and I look at my GPS, which tells me how long I have to go yet, and I'm like, and it said like, you got another hour, and I'm like, oh crap, I'm almost done. Whereas, and I thought at the same moment, I thought, if I was in a car an hour ago, I'd be saying, oh man, are we there yet? It's like, you just don't want it to end.
Yeah.
When you're on a motorcycle. On a car, it's like, oh, this is boring. It's like, So if you get it, you get it, and if you don't, you don't, and that's fine. I would never encourage anybody who is nervous about it to get on a motorcycle. You either have to like it or not.
Yeah. I know a lot of people, like usually younger kids will pick it up because it's a cheap way to go fast.
Yeah.
I don't really agree with, but
correct.
You would say it's more of for you it's a sightseeing and just
it's sightseeing.
It's kind of like a sensory.
It's actually kind of like a Zen experience, if you've ever heard the term Zen. And I was out fishing with Eric the other day, and what I noticed was I had the same feeling out on the stream fishing as I get on the bike. So, it's that peacefulness. You don't have the noise of the city. You don't. It's just you get to be in your own head, I guess. And so I actually had the same feeling when I was fishing as I do when I'm on the bike. It was really weird. That had never occurred to me before.
Yeah, I've noticed personally, it's like not that time stands still, but just there's peaceful. A lot less that matters.
Absolutely, that's absolutely true. You're right. You've probably heard a lot of people say, "Well, I got to get on the bike to clear my head," and I've done that.
Yeah.
Something's happening in my life and I'm frustrated, and I need to get away from it. Jump on the bike and head out to 81. Well, just ride to Shippensburg and back, and that calms you down, and it gives you a chance to think and process things, because to a certain extent, you have to be paying attention to the traffic and the operation of the bike. So, it forces you to stop thinking about the stuff that you shouldn't be worried about.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah, I can tell.
That's all the questions I have. I don't know if there's anything else you would like to, cover?
I can't think of anything. You know, I
Well, hey.
said that's that phrase. If I have to explain why I ride, you're never going to understand. That says it all.
Yeah.
You know.
I really appreciate your time, though. It's pretty much what I'm looking for in an interview.
Nice.
I plan on trying to get a little bit of everybody out there. I have a guy I met up before coming here, the guy I sold my sports gear to, after I had my little whoopsie on that, and I think he's a bit of a beginner, so I want to interview him and see what his answers are.
Well, safety
why he
first.
rides.
You know,
Yeah.
safety first. And I just tell bikers to, you just need to be paying attention to everything all the time. The guy says, you got to have your head on a swivel. And you do. I mean, and if you've taken the rider's course, they'll talk about situational awareness.
Yeah.
I mean, I have seen so many people. I mean, and then I do this when I'm driving a car too. I find myself, I won't even go through an intersection in a car without looking left and right and making sure that nobody's trying to run the light, or do something crazy. I mean, I sometimes think that all drivers should be required to ride a motorcycle so that they understand what motorcyclists go through, and they might have a better concept, of not doing the stupid stuff that drivers do, like pulling out right in front of you, or like if you're riding in a group and you're spaced out so you don't wreck, right? Well, then you get a car that sees an opening and they think they're going to scoot right in. That's ridiculous. Wait 5 seconds. It's not going to take much out of your life. Just wait 5 seconds, let the group go past, and then pull out. I mean, car drivers drive me crazy sometimes.
I think the phrase that I remember the most that explains it is everybody's out to kill you.
Yep.
That's
it.
And I've noticed personally I can almost read traffic like a book on 80, I think it's 81, coming home from school, and it definitely helps my driving, just because you could tell somebody wants to get over before they even change the lane or put on a blinker. It's insane.
I know. You can tell that. I remember an incident. So I was in Dillsburg, and I was coming off, it's not 74 there, I don't think, but it's right there at Route 15, and we'll call it 94. I'm not sure which one it is, but it's down by the villages and where you turn to the golf course there. So anyway, here's Route 15 is coming this way, north and south, and I'm going east and west.
Yeah.
And I'm crossing that light, and I have the green light. And as I'm rolling through, and everybody else was stopped, but as I'm rolling through there, I could see this car over here who's going to turn right. Now this right on red stuff, that's just ridiculous. She didn't even, and so I'm rolling and I'm slowing down because I don't know why. I just had a feeling something was going to happen. And she didn't even stop. She didn't even look for me. She didn't even try. She just blew right through that red light to turn right. Now, if I hadn't been observant to everything that was going around me, there's a possibility, because I was going that road, my friend lives out there, and there's a possibility that I could have just cruised right through there and she could have cruised right into me if I hadn't been aware. And you get that sense of what the other drivers are doing.
It's like
it's ridiculous.
Sixth sense.
That
funny feeling, because I think your brain will pick up on things that you don't exactly see or hear happening, but you will kind of get like a weird feeling about certain things. That's the only way I could put it, at least.
It's experience from driving and riding, and situational awareness, and just the thought that everybody on the road is out to get you. That's why I like mostly the back roads. I'm most comfortable when I'm on roads where there's not a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
Because it's usually not me. I mean, I know I had my accident, which was all me, but I think the brakes failed, which I still don't understand that. But most of the time, if it's not going to be you that causes the problem as much as somebody else that's not paying attention to you. And here's one beef that I have, and I'll tell you about this, is the clothing that motorcycle riders wear now.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have a bright green jacket now. It's a safety green jacket, but that's very visible. You can see me a quarter mile away.
Yeah.
Okay. A gripe that I have, and I understand why, but think about it. If you're on a dark motorcycle wearing dark clothing with a dark helmet, and somebody doesn't see, I call that road camo,
Yeah.
because you're just trying to hide on the road. Now I get it, it looks cool, but you got to deal with guys like me that are 65 years old and who are drivers, and the vision's not as good as young people. Reaction time is not as good as young people, and so you're going to go out on the road in dark clothing and a dark bike and make yourself almost as invisible as possible, and then blame another driver because they didn't see you. Now that just gripes me. So wear bright clothing. In fact, I told the guy when I bought my jacket, he said something about the more diverse the colors, so I said, so I if I went out in a clown suit, I'd probably be very visible.
Exactly.
He said, yeah. He says,
I know I have a black helmet.
yeah.
I think personally it's no different than having a solid white helmet if you have like a solid color. So I tried to break it up with a white sticker on the back, just something to kind of break up the outline there. And then
I mean, most helmets. Well, I know you want to maintain a certain look. I understand that. I mean, I have a silver helmet, but it's a solid color.
Yeah.
But
I'd
I'm
imagine
okay with. I got the
silver's-
bright green jacket, which has reflective piping on it, and I have green gloves that I wear.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I shouldn't say this, but like my friend, he has dark gloves. Now he always uses hand signals, but so if he's going to be turning left, he puts his hand out, or right. But you know what? I'm riding behind him, and I'm like, dude, I know what you're doing, but guess what? I don't see you very well. That's why I got green gloves, because it's dark against dark.
It's something I might have to look into. I know personally I had black gloves. They have no like retro reflective anything on them. They push that hard in the beginner rider course now, is retro reflective, because that way
What's retro?
instead of just being like a reflector, it'll reflect light back from any source, like straight back to the source.
Oh, okay.
So instead of it having to hit head on, you can hit it kind of from the side and reflect back.
Okay.
I think that's what most jackets have. I know mine has a little bit on the back. One of my older jackets had some back and front.
Okay.
And they were pushing that really hard because they went from MSF to Total Control.
Right.
Pennsylvania did.
Did you do the Total Control?
I did the first one. Yeah.
Did you do the first one? Okay.
Yeah. That's.
How was it?
It was enjoyable. I liked it. Besides a little bit of rain. I mean, that was a good experience riding in the rain. But other than that, it wasn't bad at all. Personally, I liked it. I had fun.
Yeah, I was going to take it. I looked for it, but I didn't want to take the beginners. I wanted to take a more advanced, and they didn't have enough instructors yet in Pennsylvania for the more advanced course.
I had my instructor from the state, so I had one from Appalachian who helped teach. Bob, he was awesome. He's their customer service guy. And then I had Pete, who I guess he lives down in New York. He does it on the side for extra money. He's an awesome guy. He has a Yamaha FJ. It's their touring bike. It's the older one. I know they have a newer one that looks huge. It looks like it has a little car on the front of it. But
I've seen that. I've been on that. I sat on that bike, and it is an awesome bike. I was telling somebody the other day, if I had unlimited funds, I would probably have that bike.
Yeah,
it is really.
It looks cool.
It does look cool.
He's got the older version of that with a very rare transmission on it. It's like an automatic transmission in a way that you still shift, but you can use your hand or your foot. He said he's worn through gloves riding it so much. He bought it brand new. He has like 80,000 on it now, but he knows his stuff. He was an awesome instructor. He's got a couple other bikes, like a Goldwing, but that's the one he typically rides. It's all tricked out, extra fuel tank on the back instead of room for a passenger.
Wow.
He's a very cool guy, though.
No, that is cool. Yeah, I don't go far enough that I need an extra. That's why I have my GPS. When I get low, I say, "Hey GPS, find me a gas station."
Yeah.
I love my GPS.
I personally, I need to get better with using Senna's voice control because I haven't been able to get it to work with my phone. Because I know there's a way that you can do the voice command to get you into your phone's voice command, and
Right,
search for
right.
like a gas station or
Right.
food or something like that.
Right.
But
Yeah, I can't get mine to work either, so I just said, well, I don't have a very smart phone.
okay.
Like my phone is just barely Android, so.
Mhm.
But that's okay, I'm all right with that. I don't want to be on the phone all the time, anyway. Oh, there you go.
Well, hey, I appreciate your time.
Hey, I'll show you my gloves, I think they're out here, my bike